Chapter 1. The Dwarves' Departure. In a kingdom nestled deep within a forest, there lived a young and fair princess named Snow White. She was known far and wide for her beauty, her ebony hair, and her skin as white as snow. But, as it often happens in fairy tales, her life was far from perfect. Snow White had found refuge in the enchanted forest, living with 7 kind-hearted dwarves who had welcomed her into their cottage. They had taken her in after her stepmother, the wicked queen, tried to kill her with a poisoned apple. Snow White had been living happily with the dwarves, safe from the queen's malevolent clutches. However, one fateful day, the dwarves left for the mines, promising to be back before nightfall. Snow White bade them farewell, a tinge of worry in her heart. But she never anticipated the depths of her loneliness when night fell, and the dwarves did not return. The hours turned into an agonizing wait, and she found herself pacing the small cottage, tears staining her rosy cheeks. "Where are they?" Snow White whispered to herself. "Why haven't they returned?" As the night grew darker and colder, Snow White's sobs echoed through the forest. She felt abandoned, helpless, and lost in the vast wilderness. Chapter 2. A lone knight unbeknownst to Snow White, there was a brave knight named Sir Cedric, who had been on a quest to save the kingdom from a menacing and wicked elephant that had terrorized the land. The elephant was no ordinary beast. It had been cursed by an evil sorceress, turning it into a creature of rage and destruction. Sir Cedric had heard tales of Snow White, the fairest princess in the land, and her kindness. He had seen her weep from a distance and, drawn by her beauty and the sound of her sorrow, he followed the sound of her cries through the dark forest. With his sword at his side, Sir Cedric arrived at the dwarves' cottage, and there he found Snow White, her beauty radiant even in her sadness. The knight gently touched her shoulder, and she gasped, her tear-filled eyes meeting his. "Who are you?" Snow White whispered, her voice trembling. "I am Sir Cedric, a knight sworn to protect the innocent," he replied. "I heard your cries and came to offer my assistance." "Why are you weeping, my lady?" Snow White told him of the dwarves' sudden departure and her fear that they might never return. Sir Cedric, his heart moved by her plight, vowed to help her. He knew he could not leave the enchanting princess alone in the forest. So, together, they devised a plan to save her beloved dwarves and defeat the wicked elephant that plagued the land. Chapter 3. The Battle with the Wicked Elephant. With Snow White by his side, Sir Cedric set off into the heart of the forest, determined to find the dwarves and save the kingdom from the menacing elephant. They journeyed through the night, guided only by the moon's soft glow. As dawn broke, they reached the mines where the dwarves worked. Much to their horror, they discovered the dwarves trapped in a dark, perilous tunnel, unable to return to the surface. The elephant had wreaked havoc on their lives, leaving them no choice but to take refuge in the depths of the mine. Snow White and Sir Cedric, armed with courage and determination, ventured into the tunnel to rescue the dwarves. They battled the elephant, a creature of enormous size and fury, in a fierce and epic showdown. With the knight's unwavering bravery and Snow White's presence inspiring hope, they managed to defeat the cursed elephant. Its rage was calmed, and it transformed into a gentle, peaceful creature once more. The dwarves, their hearts filled with gratitude, rejoiced upon seeing Snow White and Sir Cedric return with their companions. The forest, once dark and menacing, now shone with newfound light, and Snow White's tears of sorrow were replaced with tears of joy. Chapter 4. A New Beginning. With the wicked elephant defeated and the dwarves safe, Snow White and Sir Cedric returned to the dwarves' cottage, where they celebrated their victory. The dwarves had realized the depths of their care for Snow White during their absence and apologized for leaving her alone. Sir Cedric, who had grown deeply fond of Snow White, confessed his feelings to her, and she, touched by his bravery and kindness, accepted his love. The kingdom hailed Snow White as their savior, and she, with Sir Cedric at her side, ruled the land with benevolence and grace. They lived happily ever after, a true tale of courage, love, and the power of compassion. And so, in the heart of the enchanted forest, Snow White's tears of abandonment turned into tears of joy. For she had not only found her true love but also a loyal knight, and newfound strength within herself.